All right, kudos. So now we're going to do some speaking about a few things. We're going to have a small guest speaker too. Somebody asked me about the Matrix, and I posted some things. I posted some things on Telegram. Do you remember? Some of you were not around for this. This is the Sunday group. This was on our private group. It was basically saying stay in the Christ light, because this way you'll know what the truth is going to be and what the truth is not going to be. What you believe is the truth, even though you think you're getting out of the old matrix where the truth was, what you think it is may not be. So the only way you're going to know what real truth is by standing in the Christ light. And for those of you who watched the Left Behind movie with us, remember they said just believe and trust in the divine, stay in your light, stay in with God, and nobody will see you. And he walked right past everybody. Remember that? You need to know the truth. Just like everybody, this is a real good lesson in that movie. If you haven't watched it, Left Behind, the one with Kirk Cameron, not the one with Nicolas Cage, that's the BS one. So what happened was the Antichrist, Nikolai, shot the two people in the room, bam, bam, shot them. And then he said, oh, such a shame, something like that, such a shame. I remember it's such a shame, but whatever word he used, such a shame, such a shame. And when everybody left the room, they were all saying, oh my God, this guy shot the other guy and then turned the gun on himself, because Nikolai had said, oh, man A shot man B, and man A turned the gun on man A himself at the end. Such a shame. And when they left, that's what everybody believed, except for Kirk Cameron, who was standing in the protection of the Christ light. He saw the truth. He's like, no, Nikolai shot them, but nobody else saw it. And that's the point we're trying to make. That was said in a message from the divine we had gotten on either Tuesday or Thursday night. I don't remember the night because I've been out of commission for a week, right? So I'm a little confused on days and stuff. But that was said. And that's what you really need to do. Now, I posted some things on Telegram, and they look real. There was one individual, and I'm trying to think of her name. Barbara said, well, how do we know this is real? But the whole point of this is we're being lied to in the pictures. What you see has more power than what you know, which comes back to, I want to read something from the Bible. This is 1 Timothy 2. So when I was doing this, I always get messages. I ask for things and they come in strange ways sometimes, right? So one of the messages I got was Charles Stanley. Sammy likes to push on the remote and turn the TV on, watch TV. He does it all the time. So he keeps banging on the remote with his little nose until the TV comes on. And he turned on Charles Stanley just as I was asking this question. The question was about knowing. When you create, you must have a knowing. Charles Stanley is a preacher. So one of the things that I was asking about was knowing. Knowing is how you create. I know I am divine, perfect heart. You must have the knowing. So hang on. I'm going to shut down the chat for 1 minute. Okay. I'm going to shut it down because I got to make this point and I got to hear this correctly. So knowing is how you create. I know I am divine, perfect health. You got to know it. You got to know it and not doubt it. The minute you doubt it is the minute it doesn't work. I know it. I know it. I know it. So how do we know things? When we see things like this or anything, Tartaria, I know this is a clone. I know this is not real. I know this is XYZ. Do you really know it? And if you believe it, you begin to create it. If we get enough people believing shit, we create it. So it comes to the point of when and how the knowing must stop. Don't just trust everything. The only thing you can truly trust is your own divinity and that of the divine creator of all. Yeshua, Emmanuel Sue, Jesus, whatever you'd like to call him. Okay? You need to trust. And if you can't trust, you won't know what's real. But seeing, when you see something, it has more validity to you than not being able to see something. It is easier to say, I know this PPF bottle is real. I know it. I have no doubt about it. It's blue. It's metal. I know. I don't doubt it, do I? Because I can see it. I can feel it. I can touch it. I can drink out of it. It's real. Absolutely. Now, over here, there's Christ-like. There's God. So at what point do you know that's truly God? Do you know that's the Christ-like? Do you know as much as you know this? So what they have done, those that have come into when we came into this world, they have convinced us that this and this have more power than not seeing. They have convinced us that what we see is truth. Everything we see, it's real, right? What's another word for real? It's true. Absolutely everything we see is real. But now we enter into the cyber age. AI. It's telling you straight out it's artificial. It's not real. But we're seeing it. It's the same as Project Bluebeam, the holographic imagery. We live in a holographic matrix. But the divine wants you to know beyond a shadow of a doubt. Know with an unwavering belief, a knowing that the truth, the divine truth. And here's how you know. I'm going to read Timothy, 1 Timothy 2. For kings and for all that are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceful life in the godliness and honesty. For this is good and acceptable in the sight of God our Savior, who will have all men to be saved and to come unto the knowledge of the truth. It's right in the Bible. The only way you're going to have the knowledge of real truth is through Lord Yeshua, our Savior, the Christ-light. It's all the same. How many times have we heard that Lord Yeshua and the Christ-light are one of the same? They're synonymous. That's why they gave him the last name Christ, which is not his last name, but Jesus Christ. Jesus, the Christed one. He is the personification of the Christ-light. Therefore, you will know the truth through that. For this is good and acceptable in the sight of God, our Savior. Our Savior was who? Yeshua, Jesus, who will have all men to be saved. That's be the way they must all men saved, and to come unto the knowledge of the truth. For there is one God and one mediator between God and men, the man Christ Jesus. who gave himself a ransom for all, to be testified in due time. Whereunto I am an ordained a preacher and an apostle. I speak the truth in Christ and lie not, a teacher of the Gentiles in faith and verity. I will therefore that men pray everywhere. This is your decreeing, lifting up holy hands without wrath and doubting. You have to be in the Christ light. If you're not in the Christ light, you're not going to see these things. You're not going to see what's fake. You're not going to see. And what I'm finding out, and this is not against mankind or anybody, what I am finding out that the whole patriot movement, the whole Trump movement is just following blindly the truth of community. You're following these truths blindly. It is time to take back your power. The authority has been given to you to take back who you are. You see, all these people, the Trumps of the world, they're going to remove the obstacles. They're not going to give you back your authority unless you step up for it. They cannot. Only you can claim back as the creator of what you are, what you gave up. Only you can. Nobody else can. You need to claim your power of authority back. You need to claim the authority given to you by the divine creator, Genesis 1:26, your dominion. You have to claim it back. Now, this all goes through the matrix. Now, we're going to get a little technical here. All right, let me put the chat back on real quick. I want to ask, is everybody comprehending so far what I just said? Didn't I put it back on? Oh, no, I didn't. My apologies. Now it's back on. Did everybody comprehend that part of it? Awesome. Okay, so now let's go. I'm going to shut you back down. Let's go into the next one. It's going to get a little bit more, but again, let it resonate with you. It must be your truth. Don't let it be my truth. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the matrix. The matrix is what we come into. The third dimensional world, this earth, is controlled by the Luciferian matrix. It is stated in the Bible. The minute there was a take a bite out of the apple, Lucifer controlled it. I've stated, I'm not going into this, but I've stated 1,000 million times that the Bible is a trust. You can find it out for yourself. Those of you who got trusts, you can see how they're pretty much identical once you know what a common law, a true God common law trust is, not the crap that they're selling out there, which almost every one of them I have shot down. They're not real trusts. There are some out there, but for the most of them, the ones that are in the truth community selling these things, most of them aren't correct at all. But anyway, I digress. If you have a real common law trust like we gave you, you can see the similarities to how the Bible was set up and the trust is set up. Because the Bible is a trust. Everything in this earth plane is a trust. Everything. And there's an executive trustee. Adam and Eve were the first trustees. They messed up. Satan took over trustee. Basically, what they did is they signed over executive trustee to Satan, the Luciferian. And from there, we lost divine Christ-like. Because we came into a world that an executive trustee who was Lucifer's minion, Satan, was running that trust. So we learned the ways of Satan. Then Yeshua came, Jesus, Emmanuel. He came and he took back, he showed he had power of authority over the trustee that was working, which was Satan. And he took back the power and authority. But But mankind chose Satan. Therefore, divinity cannot cross dominion. So what happened, in very simple terms, I'm making this very basic because we're getting to a point. In very, very simple terms, there became two trustees, Satan and Yeshua. You follow the righteous path, you're promised everything under the divine. You promised, if you follow the satanic path, you're promised everything under Satan. And you have the free will to choose. And that is what's happening. What trust are you going to be held under? Who is the executive trustee that holds all the right? Under Emmanuel, Jesus, you have rights. Under Satan, you are a minion. So, what's happening is, in comes a gentleman and a group of people that's going to show you the split between these. But here's what's happening big time. There's a matrix. The holographic matrix is what gives us these things. I'm thinking of doing a class on how frequency makes matter, but we'll see. So these things are light, vibrating frequency and adjusting. I'm just going to use these words. This is not the place to prove it. This is Sunday, and I'm going a little deep for Sunday as it is. These things become matter. What's the matter? The matter is, this is what it becomes, right? This is it. This is matter. Our physicality is matter. It's all third dimensional matter. It no longer is light, and it is part of the matrix. The matrix is, I'm going to make this very simple. If any of you who ever watched Star Trek, remember the holographic, what is that called? Oh, goodness, let me put the chat back on so somebody can tell me what that was, because I forgot. What's that called? The holographic room, the holodeck. Thank you. The holodeck. So they have a holodeck, and you just dial in, I want to fight dragons, and you dial in and there'll be dragons there. It's created. It's much like the 3D glasses. When you get lost into the holodecks, when you get lost into that, you're creating a reality. The difference is between these things, it's just visual and it's in your mind. The other ones are creating it, like the holodeck, with matter, because there is a way of taking the frequency of light and transforming it into physical matter. Easily proved. Everything is frequency. And all that belongs to the matrix. So, how do you know the matrix is real in the third dimension? How do we know that I'm not just blowing smoke out of my mouth and up your butt, right? How? Let's go to the Bible. Hang on to your boot tails for this one. Exodus 13:15. Look it up yourself. That thou shalt set apart unto the Lord all that open the matrix. And every firstling that cometh of a beast which thou hast, the male shall be the Lord's. Everything coming of the matrix is of the beast. And it shall come, Exodus 13:15. I combined them. And it shall come to pass when Pharaoh would, this is 13:15, the other one was 13:12. And it came to pass when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, that the Lord slew all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of the beast. We all know what we're talking about. Therefore, I sacrifice to the Lord all that open the matrix, being males, but all the firstborn of my children I redeem. Right there, that's stating the matrix belongs to the beast. But all those born of me, I will redeem. You just got to accept it. So let's look up a really fun word. Everything that opened the matrix in all flesh. I want to read this one too. This is Numbers 18:15. Everything that opened the matrix in all flesh. The matrix in flesh. The matrix is not part of the light. They bring unto the Lord, whether it be of men or beast, shall be thine. What's he saying? You opened the matrix. You got out of the matrix. Everyone that opened the matrix. If you get out of the matrix, you shall be mine, thine. You should be the divine. Whether you be of beast or whether you be of man, if you get out of the matrix, you go into the light and you be mine. And nevertheless, the firstborn of man shalt thou surely redeem, and the firstling of unclean beast shalt thou redeem. Even a beast who gets out of the matrix will be redeemed. Now, we're all good with this so far. I'm taking this in steps because it's going to get a little more complicated. We're good so far. All right, moving along. Using the clues, remember, when you read the Bible, ask to see the truth. Ask to know the divine truth. Don't ask to see the crap. Ask to know the divine truth. Numbers 18:15. So, using the truth in those verses of the Bible, we can discern, right, that the matrix is connected to someone or something being born, right? Because it always talks about being born, every one of them. You good with me with that? Awesome. And the Hebrew word for this is Rahem. I don't know if I'm saying it right. R-E-H-E-M, Rahem, I'm not sure. And translated, that means womb. So 21 times in Genesis, Numbers, Samuel, Job, Psalms, Jeremiah, and Hosea, the matrix is used. 21 times. 2 and 1 is 3, it's divinity. And do you know, if you look it up, the matrix is used as a medical term in our society. It's something as, this is the definition of it, as a surrounding or pervading substance or element. So let me read you a little definition here. The word matrix in Webster's dictionary, you ready? A situation or surrounding substance that gives form or origin to anything. A womb. So what happens in the womb? Light comes together and the womb gives it form, matter. That's the definition. A situation or surrounding substance that gives form or origin to anything. Are we not surrounded by a matrix? Are we not in a dome of matrix? The cavity in which anything is formed and which gives its shape. The cavity in which anything is formed and which gives it shape. The earthy or sown substance in which metallic ores or crystallized minerals are found. Here's a good one. Here's a really good one. The lifeless portion of tissue, either animal or vegetable, situated between the cells, the intercellular substance. Is that what you always hear me call substrate? It's not lifeless. So it all comes from the womb. It comes from birth. The Bible tells you, let me repeat that one. Okay. Let me get it back. The lifeless portion of tissue, either animal or vegetable, situated between the cells, the intercellular substance. That's what I keep calling you as the substrate. That's how you create. It's not lifeless. There is no lifeless. Everything has life. Only death. Death means Luciferian. So we are in the Luciferian matrix. Absolutely in the please keep your chats down to minimum because it's distracting for me. We are absolutely in the Luciferian matrix. How did we get here? This goes back to what I've been speaking about for 20 years, 30 years. Man, I'm getting old. Negate. I am divine youth. This goes back to about 30 years, right? What happens when you are born? You were born as a living child, right? You were born in divinity. And you are transferred, I'm going to put it that way, you were transferred into the matrix by your birth certificate. Knowing that, now thinking about that, put that in your little, the brain, right? Put that in there, and let's go back to the quotes in the Bible. Everything that opened the matrix in all flesh, which they bring unto the Lord, whether it be of men or beast, shall be thine. And it comes to pass, when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, that the Lord slew all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of beast. Therefore, I sacrifice to the Lord all that open the matrix, being males, but all the firstborn of my children I redeem. Why does he keep saying being males? Because the womb belongs to the Christ light. When you come out of the womb, all those, the males, are being sacrificed into the matrix. It is the birthing process that puts you into the matrix. So, are we still good with this? Let me put you back on. I'm trying to do this in steps so I don't lose anybody. So everything around you is part of the matrix. That's why they're trying to tell you the only way out. I hope you don't understand, Sarandra. I'll get to that, Michelle. When you say you understand, you are under the matrix. You comprehend. You comprehend the divine light. So the only way that they keep us here is by our own free will. We come in here as light. Now, I'm going to take this one step further. I'm going to use Lenny's little whiteboard. Hang on. I'll get to your questions in a minute. Just going to do the whole thing in blue and purple here. I've got to bring the tissues. This is the earth plane. Okay? Now, what does it call a matrix? It's surrounding. Now, picture this as flat, right? It's like this. I don't know if I can draw that good enough. Let's see. It more looks like this. Okay? You're looking at a flat piece. You're getting the side view. This is the earth plane. Now, the definition of a matrix is a surrounding anything and everything to give it form. As above. Oh, that's not a very good circle. Ooh. So the earth goes from being a flat plane to a round ball. If I drew it better, it would be rounder. And this round ball, I'm going to make it look better. Oops. I'm going to have one really big blue finger. Well, my earth is a little wobbly. Doesn't look that round. This round ball is what we see and know as earth. That's why I always say it's flat. And I don't care what anybody says, I was the first one to come up with the word flat, and I know that for a fact, on Charlie Ward. Okay, so this is the earth. What you see here is the matrix. This is run by, we'll do it this way. I'll tell the truth. Satan. You gave away your dominion. We give it away every day of our lives. And this is the matrix. And you are now living in a matrix. Everything you see in the truth community is part of the matrix. Everything. Trump is in the matrix, no different than the rest of us. We're all in the matrix. But let those who open the matrix get out, be thine, belong to me, belong to the divine creator of all. You're claiming your righteousness. This is the only way out. Righteousness is the path out of here and into divinity. Remember the Truman Show? He unzipped it. He opened the matrix. Goes into more. There's a lot more behind this, but I'm just giving you the overview. Okay? So the matrix is the Luciferian control. And you got to get out of it. Now, does it mean that everybody who's in the matrix is evil? No. I'm not evil. You're not evil. We do stupid things a lot, but we're not evil. But we're in it. We've accepted the role of being stuck in it. The matrix is real. Don't let anybody tell you it's not. The Bible speaks of it. Many people didn't even know that the Bible speaks of the matrix. People don't really read it. There's a lot of things the Bible speaks of. It speaks of giants. It speaks of a lot of things. But going back to Timothy, who will have all men to be saved and to come unto the knowledge and the truth. You have to desire that. And you have to stop if you choose. I'm only speaking to those who already made the choice, because this group is mostly about mastery. So if you want to be a master of the Christ light, you kind of already made the choice. So I'm speaking as if every one of you made the choice. If you didn't, hang up and disappear. No sweat off of my, has nothing to do with me. So all men will be saved and come unto the knowledge of truth. That's what Yeshua wants. But let me ask you this question. How many can describe God to someone? What's the biggest question people have? Is God real? How do you know? There are 50,000 million different churches with 50,000 different gods, right? How do you know which is the real one? Well, if they came to you and asked, what would you say? How do you know Jesus? Do you know the truth of Yeshua Emmanuel? Emmanuel Sue is his real name. Do you know the truth of him? Or do you know him? See, it's one thing to know in the P. Yep, I know about Jesus. Yep, I worship Jesus. I'm a Jesus freak. I like Jesus, this and that. I like the Bible. But there's another thing in truth of knowing. There's a difference in the knowings. This was my question. This all came about with AI. It's artificial. They're telling you, they're throwing it right into your face. The AI movement is artificial. If you belong to the AI movement, if we engulf it more and more, we will lose the truth. Artificial is not truth. How many of you have had a real apple and it tastes delicious? A nice organic apple off the tree, not sprayed with anything. It's fantastic, right? Do you want to eat an artificial apple? No. But this is where we're at. How many of you look through Emmanuel Isu's eyes, Jesus's eyes, Yeshua's eyes, or look through the Matrix eyes? I can easily tell by the way you speak and the way you type. We do not have the authority to go out and start telling people this is how you have to be. I have the authority because you people come here and ask. If they don't ask, you shut your face, because the minute you go and you start telling people who don't ask is the minute you're back into the matrix. This matrix, the dark matrix, we'll put the dark matrix here. The dark matrix. You got to get out. Getting out is allowing people to make their own decisions. Getting out is caring and trusting in your self-determination, in what you believe. And let me tell you, the dark side knows this so well, it's insane. They have manipulated, lied, created visions that aren't even true, tell the vision, created everything for you so that you, the physicality, the matter, because the light transformed into matter to become here on this plane, and that light no longer sees the truth. But the divine, the one true God, the creator of all that all is not, wants men to be saved and to come into the knowledge and the truth, to escape the matrix. Those who open the matrix will belong to me. It's all about opening the matrix. And what's going on in this world? The whole political thing, everything is only giving you their truth. You have to be a step ahead of it. If you want to see what's really going on, you must stand in the Christ light, and you must know. You must talk. You know how many people think I'm crazy because I talk to Yeshua, Emmanuel Yeshua, all the time? But you do this enough, you all start to get messages and hear Emmanuel in your head. You hear the divinity, you hear your Christ light, you see your Christ light, you feel your Christ light. You begin to know your Christ light. But how many of you go through life blind? You know all this, but you don't even tap into it. Don't chase money. You cannot serve two masters. Do not serve money. And yet so many are doing it. And many of you, because I get so many RV questions. And isn't it funny that the RV is called a redemption? Are you going to be redeemed into the matrix? Or are you going to be redeemed by opening the matrix and stepping out and not giving it the hoots about all the stuff that's in here? It's all about the knowing of the truth. And the time is now. We are out of time. It doesn't mean we're at an end. Time doesn't exist outside of the matrix. That brings me, we all good so far, to the next part. Okay. That brings me, how many of you in the last week or two have felt the experience of being tired? Put a T for tired. What's happening? Okay. Here's what's happening. 81% of the people voted for Trump. Now, let's take in, hold on, hear me out here. Let's take in 1% didn't vote, 1% didn't get counted. What are we talking about? 80% of America voted for Trump. 20% did not. Can we say the 80-20 rule? Change happens through the 80-20. I'm not getting into that too. There's a whole thing about the 80-20. I had taught that years and years ago through the government knows all of this stuff. Okay, so 80% said we want different. We want our power back. They don't truly know what that means, but it doesn't mean listening to the Chinese and giving and crucify and I don't want to use that word, and trafficking, killing children. It doesn't mean that. We want to change. We want that all. We want the evil to stop. They truly don't know what they're saying, a lot of them, but they want the evil to stop, even if they have to fight for it. That word fight brings you back into the matrix. Okay? So what has happened? We are connected through artificial interface. I asked people not to chat, so I got to shut it down again. Christine. We ask people, we are connected through the artificial interface into the matrix. The quantum field we are part of, and we have connected because we're part of the matrix, and that we have brought the matrix through our own beingness into the quantum field. And you want to know why we can't ascend? We can't raise to the higher vibration. Like I said, it's like we have all these tethers on our balloon and we can't lift up until we cut these tethers. So, the more artificial the world is starting to do this. The artificial intelligence, which is not intelligence, it's interface. You heard it here first. No one else calls it here. The artificial interface. Your interfacing into the matrix. You must disconnect from there, open the matrix through divine righteousness, and find yourself where you belong. So, 81%, 80-20 rule, 80% of the people wanted a change. That has affected a breach in the matrix. So here's what's happening to everybody. Remember, I told you, Trump is not your savior. The Republicans, conservative, that whole political party, the government is not your savior. They're just removing blockages so that you can feel, sense, know a little better. But you must be in the Christ light to take advantage of these openings. They're not spoon feeding you. What they're going to spoon feed mankind is the third dimensional world, the matrix. What they're trying to do is make the matrix a little better. What those of divinity and divine righteousness are doing are opening, unzipping the matrix and getting the heck out. Getting the divine out. We're out of here. This is not our world. We are the chosen ones of the divine Christ light. You have more power and authority in one little strand of hair than the whole darn matrix, satanic Luciferian matrix has. Because they have no power, they must take it from you. They have to. They cannot create. When you renounce the Christ light, when you renounce divinity, and you sign up for the matrix, the Luciferian matrix, you now become non-creative. You cannot create. You become part of Satan. Satan does not allow his minions to create. They can only follow orders. They're mindless. They're lightless. Light is the very thing that creates. It's the only thing that creates. And the Lord said, "Let there be light." And it was good. And he gave it to everybody. Light is the creation. What is light? It's a frequency. It's a sound. It embraces all of that. It transforms. Light, remember I showed you in one of my retreats, it was Jonaluska. For those of you who came to that retreat in Jonaluska, I showed you how light becomes matter, particles. Remember that? Oops, I shut you down. I did a whole session on that. And I showed you how I made a holographic image with just 2 pieces of cardboard and a CD cover in my phone. Just using the light from my phone, right? And I had, I think some of them I had a whale, or it was a starfish, I think. I made holographic images. So, for those of you who weren't there, a dolphin, okay, I knew it was something. For those of you who were there, ask the people who were there. I just did it. Two pieces of cardboard, a little bit of duct tape. You always need duct tape. A little bit of duct tape, and the cover, the plastic cover of a CD case. And I created a holographic image through light. I showed how light particles become matter, physical matter. Therefore, light becomes the creation. It's proof. Don't ask questions yet. I want to finish. I'm on a train of thought here. So, when you renounce the light, you cannot create anymore. Therefore, they must get the power from you. You are the light of God. You're the light of the Christ light. Emmanuel Su, the Christ light, the light of the divine creator of all. Not the fake God of the Matrix. Not the minions of the fake God of the Matrix. You are the God of the light of the God of all that is. And they want you to power their system. This is why this is such an elaborate plan to dumb everybody down so that you create for them. The 80% of the people who voted for Trump are the beginning of taking back the light, of unzipping the matrix, but it's not going to be unzipped until the surrounding area is taken down, and it starts with birth. If you haven't yet, get your living birth certificate back. Your registration of living birth. Get it back. I don't care what the title says. It must say you were born a living boy or a living girl. If you got that, you're in the start. Step 1. You were born a child of the divine. You need to know the divine. And again, I use the word need because I'm talking to those who want to be masters. Those who choose darkness don't need to do this. If you want to be a master, you must take back your authority. You must get out of the matrix and go into the divine again. The time is here. What is happening? We're at the end of a cycle, a very long cycle. I'm not going into all of that either. We're at the end of a very long cycle. People have been put in place to give us the opportunity to get out of Dodge. Get out of this matrix. It is why the divine keeps in every channeling saying over and over and over in every meditation, the time is now. What does it say in Timothy? Who will have all men to be saved and to come unto the knowledge of truth. That's what they want. That's what the divine wants. For all men to be saved because we are childs of the divine. Shh. It's time. You must know your Christ light. So, when you are in a room that everybody's screaming and yelling and, let's say they're even shooting weapons in there. You're in this area that, downtown, what was that? Seattle when it was Chaz or whatever it was, Could you imagine being in that? Oh my God. You'd be like this, right? Super tight. All your muscles would be tight. You'd be on high alert. Ding, 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 ding. Any bullets coming my way? Oh my God, what's going on? And the moment you left that, and you got someplace safe, nice, cozy in your home that's nice and safe, right? The moment you did that, you go, you would unwind the stress, and you'd feel like taking a nap. How many of you have been in an extremely stressful situation, and you held up good, and when it was over, you just wanted to sleep? How many? Guess what's happening now? The 80%, that's almost all of you, the 80% voted against the matrix. We own it. We don't own it, but we are the executive trustees of this place. We're taking back our executive trusteeship. Therefore, by the actions that we did and what Trump is doing, whether good or bad he is, I don't care. They're removing some of the garbage, the obstacles, so we can take back our power and our authority and zip out of the matrix. So by the vote of 80%, the matrix is unplugging. It's dissolving. It was a lot like, that's why I posted the lightning. It's a lot like the lightning. The power is just turning into nothing. They're losing. Scotty from the Starship Enterprise. Captain, I'm giving it all she's got. Well, there's no more power and authority from us. There's 20% against 80%. It's the 80-20 rule. What's the 80-20 rule actually say? 20% controls 80%. Is the matrix 20%? Yes. Are we 80%? Yes. So now we're flipping the tables though. Now we're waking up. Now we're seeing what it says. God wants man to have the knowledge of the truth. Knowing the truth. And the truth is not what you're going to see out there. You will not. You find the truth in here. You find the truth with Yeshua, the light. The truth is in the light. You must hold the Christ light in everything you do, say, every act you do, every deed you do, your actions, your deeds, your thoughts, your words. And we all, by habit alone, will transgress back into the words of the matrix, back into the thoughts of the matrix, back into the actions of the matrix, the deeds of the matrix, by habit alone. You do something for 50 plus years, 20 plus years, every second of every day, you're going to continue doing it. It takes a while to break the habit. It doesn't take 30 days. I don't want to hear anybody saying these stupid rules of the matrix. Stop spewing stupidity matrix facts. It is not truth. It is shit from the darkness. There is one fact and one fact only. You are the living light of the divine creator. You have dominion over everything under, over, and on this earth, and you are all powerful of your own dominion. That's it. Stop spewing stupidity. Somebody typed last time when I talked about the habit, oh, it takes 3 months. No, it does not. I can break a habit in one day. In one word and in one action and in one deed, my habit's broken. So don't sit there and spew that bullshit into other people's minds. That's feeding the matrix. You're better than that. Stop spewing stupidity. Doesn't mean you're stupid. It means you're spewing stupidity. I do a lot of stupid things too. Class A, I got a broken toe. I didn't listen. I heard it 3 times. Take the gate down. I didn't. Boom. 4th time, I broke my toe. Momo alert right here. But I'm not going to beat myself up. I created it. I can uncreate it. I'm the great creator. You're the great creator. Get to know Jesus. Get to know the Christ light. Emmanuel Esu. Yeshua. Stop playing in the matrix. This is for those who wish to be masters. If you don't want to be a master, don't worry about this. Go somewhere else. Go look at the artificial intelligent pictures and go, ooh, look what's happening with Tartaria and this. Does it freaking matter? No. None of this matters. Stop making it matter. Hello, do you hear what I'm saying? Did you hear the words I just used? None of this is matter. Stop making it matter. Meaning, these are thoughts, these are visions of the matrix. They cannot make it matter. Only the divine children of light can make it matter. And the children of light are taking on these stupid beliefs, the vision, and they're making it matter. 3D matter. It is time for us to take back our energy and remove the 3D matter from the system and go back into the light. Get out of the matrix. So we have been under a matrix for more millennials than I'd like to have. Can't even go back. Hundreds of thousands since Adam and Eve. Okay? We've been under a matrix. We have been in Chaz, Seattle, for lifetimes and lifetimes. We don't even feel it anymore. It is just the way to be. instantly back into ego, instantly back into poking the bear, growling back, instantly. We have been wired so tight for millennials, millennium of years, since Adam and Eve. And now the matrix is losing its hold. And guess what? Oh, we're starting to feel what it feels like not to be under stress. That's why everybody who stands in the Christ light is starting to get tired. If you wish to get out of the matrix, you need to know the Christ light. You need to know the divine creator like your best friend, better than your best friend. Okay, does that all make sense? That is the message given to me in my Rip Van Winkle sleep that I did for 3 days to do for today. That's directly from the divine through my own divine aspects. Make sense? I'm going to open up the chat now. Bring it to your heart. Don't trust anybody but yourself. I'm not trying to convince anybody. That's the difference between religion and the divinity. Yeshua did not go on a campaign to prove he was right. He just sat up on a hill, eating French fries, drinking a little wine maybe. I don't know. He sat up on a hill just speaking his truth. And those who wanted to listen, listened. Those who didn't, left. It is so, I can't stress it. Look into my eyes. Look into your heart is a better way of doing this. I cannot stress how important it is in this time, in these moments, in this matter of the matrix, to stand and be one with Emmanuel Sue, the Christ light. Every action you take, every deed you do, every word you speak, every thought you think, best be aligned with the Christ light. Is there a message for those who choose not to be masters? You best be best friends with a man named Yeshua, because he will reach down and pull you out of the matrix when the time is right. But until then, you're going to be living in the matrix. The Bible is instructions on how to get out of the matrix, how to get out of the Luciferian control and get back into the power and the authority of the divine that you have, divine creator that you are. Are there books missing? Absolutely. We can't even get out of the matrix. The books that are missing are for the next section. But you must read it to see the truth. If you don't ask to see the truth, you will see the Luciferian truth. The Bible is also a manifestation of light into matter. Matter that is under the matrix. It's in the matrix. It exists with us, right? We're in the matrix. The Bible's in the matrix with us. You need to read it with the light of God that it resides within you. And I'm going to ask each and every one of you to let people know about this. Show them this video. This was given to me by the divine creator, by the Christ light, in those 3 days of sleep on what to do, how to get out, and what to say. So when you ask for assistance with something, right, and you want what we term prayers, okay, if you are on the path to mastery, you don't beg. What you do is you visualize the individual. But here's the thing, this just like Yeshua did. He said, it is not I who heal you, but it is you who heal you by your own belief. You have to have the belief. You have to have the decree. And what that means is you have to state something positive. If you go, oh, I got a broken hip or a fractured hip, or, oh, this is happening to so-and-so, 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 and this is happening, and this is happening. So what are you focusing on? The shit. So when somebody sends amplifying energy, it's going to be on the shit. And that's why you never get better. But that's okay. We all been taught that. Ah, my tooth hurts. Oh, my tooth hurts. No, I am divine, perfect health. Send me a blast of light. Because here's the thing. If you're having the experience of a bad tooth, a bad hip, whatever it is, a broken toe, if you're having that experience, you're in pain, right? So pain is what? It's of the matrix, which we'll get into in a minute, the Luciferian matrix. You're not exactly putting out massive amounts of Christ light. It never goes away because you are the Christ one. You've accepted it. So your Christ light, instead of being this big, which it really should be infinity, but we're about this big now. I'm just using numbers. You're kind of like at half mass. You're a Jaguar. Instead of operating on 12 cylinders, you're operating on 6. So you're put along with your Christ light. So you're sitting there with your visualization of divine perfect health, and you say, I am divine perfect health. You don't say I am without pain, because where's the focus? It's on pain. I am divine perfect health. I am the divine blueprint for divine perfect health. Then need some bench sitting, because what you're doing is, I am stating my decree, just like Jesus, heal me. And he came along. I know Jesus. Look at those people. They traveled thousands of miles through the desert and all kinds of hardship to meet the man who can heal. His name was Yeshua, Emmanuel, right? To meet him. They knew if they just touched his robe, they would be healed. They knew it. They had no doubt. What healed them? Jesus? No. All they had to do was touch a robe and they knew they'd be healed. They healed themselves. But here's the thing. They had that knowing. And when they got in the presence of this massive, massive, massive ball of light, what happened? They healed. So have the knowing that you're already healed. I am divine, perfect health. Write that down and just ask, I am divine, perfect health. I am. There's your decree. Now you're asking for some bench sitting time for people to amplify and intensify your own Christ light with their Christ light. So the more Christ light, the more the power, the faster the decree gets fulfilled. That's what I'm trying to say. And there are so many of you who I'm not picking on anybody. I'm just I use people for a point, just like I do. Patricia says fractured right hip. Who cares? You want us to, now Patricia's going, I've got fractured right hip. So we're going to sit next to her. And what are we going to amplify? Anybody? Fractured right hip. We're going to amplify with the Christ light her fractured hip. So what'll happen? The Christ light communicates Christ light to Christ light, right? So what'll happen to Patricia? The Christ light will go, she really doesn't want her hip, the fractured hip, amplified. So what do? The Christ light will just kind of ignore her. It'll sit over here doing this, but it won't assist her to amplify hers because the Christ light knows you really don't want to amplify your fractured hip. That's what I'm trying to explain to people. Sandra, we don't need a book. People, we don't need books. We don't need to know the dis-ease, the discomfort. We just need the positive visualization, the decree. All you need to do is, this is why you need one of these silent modes, shut your face, just decree, I am divine perfect health, I am. Then you just ask. I call to the PPF community. I call to the Ascended Masters. I call to Lord Yeshua to charge my decree with the Christ light momentum to make it so. That's it. Do you see the difference? Now, for all those who want to argue, well, God does this and I'm into good with God, that's all right. This is for masters, those who are seeking mastery. If you don't want to be if you don't want to be a master of the Christ light, and you just want to be under the arms of Yeshua, that's fine too. But then don't sit there and argue. Got it? So just simply write, I am divine perfect health. You're absolutely right, Lori. So going back to Patricia, I am divine perfect health. Patricia is still to host and panelist, but she is writing. She wrote, I am divine perfect health. So now just ask Patricia, PPF community, amplify it. Sit me on a park bench, however you want it. So everybody would like to sit with Patricia on a park bench and blast some Christ light. Don't forget the second I am, Patricia. I am divine perfect health. I am. Let's blast it. Done. Lori says when we do for someone else, can't write a decree for them. Nope. If you're doing for someone else, you're just going to hold Christ light around them. Okay, Fallon, you're still writing the same question. I request a plastic Christ light. I'm making fun of Fallon for coming Friday's meeting for success with grace and ease for my highest and greatest good. Really, Fallon? You're requesting it? I am divine success on Friday's meeting. I am. Amplify, intensify, call to the Ascended Masters, call to the Great White Brotherhood of the Ascended Masters, call to Lord Yeshua to charge your decree with your momentum to make it happen, and then call to PPF and ask the PPF people to. This way you give us practice. How cool is this? We got a community of momos like myself who are giving each other practice on how do we get practice otherwise? We're doing exactly what the Ascended Masters. I am divine perfect health. I call to Lord Yeshua. I call to the Ascended Masters of the Great White Brotherhood to charge my decree with their momentum. Make it so. Okay? Well, the Ascended Masters know how to do this already. Lord Yeshua knows how to do this already. We forgot. So I call the PPF community to charge my decree with your momentum. That's what the bench is about. See how I had to do it? Little steps to get you there. Little steps, little steps. So do a decree and ask everybody to charge it. And I would definitely always include Yeshua, Jesus, Emmanuel, Sue, whatever you want to call him, and the Ascended Masters of the Great White Brotherhood. And then call in us. And let us get a little practice under our belts, the practice of remembrance of who we are. we're making such a difference in people's lives, in our own communities' lives. You should be blasting at the seams. Couldn't hear the question. All right. Tanya asked, if one was to ascend, would it be in 3 days after one transitions? And would it be known to man that the individual ascended? Okay, let me get something straight about the word ascension. You ascend every day you step into your Christ light. Ascension is getting back into your divinity. You can ascend and still have 2 feet on the 3rd dimensional plane. So I kind of know what you're asking. I believe I know what you're asking, Tanya. So I'm going to put it this way for that question. If someone dies, transitions, and they go into the light, they ascended. If they come back into this matrix for another go around, they descended back in. Many of us chose to descend and come into this plane at this opportunity to do what we came here to do. So, Tanya, I know that's clear as mud, but I can't really answer that question the way it is because it depends on the individuals, it depends on everything. I don't know if they, and you may never know because it may not be part of your journey to know. Wendy, I believe your question is moot now, right? Miss Wendy. She's still on here. Let me check. Yeah, she's still on. Miss Wendy. Oh, there she is. Is it mute? No point of answering that question. Gotcha, girl. They're all steps into the structure of the divine, but you can bypass the structure. Okay, so Wendy had a question about the infinite symbol, the Metatron's box, the whole thing. Here's the thing. This is all structural structure of divinity, just like this structure of everything, you know, all the stuff. But let's look at it as your computer. How many of you know how to use Word, Windows Word, or an equivalent to that in Apple, a word processor, right? You all know how to use it. Most of you. It's a very simple thing. Do any of you who said yes know how it works? Lily, you know how it works? Robert, you know how it works? You write the programming for it? You know the programming behind it? You know how it interfaces. You know how they wrote the program. You know how it sits on, partially, yeah, not really. We all know how it sits on Windows 10, how it's part of DOS, and how it works with the operating system. But you really have no clue how it works. You didn't write it. You didn't create it. The structure, most of you do not know the structure of your computer and how it works, but you can use it, right? You get things done on it. This is not for an ego trip. It's to make a point. Maybe there's something else in your life you don't know how it works. A car, but you drive it. Do you really know the timing of how when the piston comes up, it creates pressure and that the gas comes in and explodes, makes an explosion to push the piston down to turn the drive shaft? A lot of people don't know these things. But they use the car. How many of you know exactly how a microwave works? But you'll use a microwave. The point being, you don't need to know the ins and outs of the cows behind to know how a cow works. That was my mother's favorite expression. You don't need to know the ins and outs. You just need to know how it works. So I showed a lot of the structure of the divine. You don't need to know it 100%. You need to know enough to get done what you need to do, but you can just utilize the Christ light in creation, not exactly knowing how substrate works, how all that works. The more you utilize it, the more you will get to know structure. Okay, Bob writes, is there a role for feelings, emotions in the decree healing process? Yes. The more emotion power you put behind it, the faster it will create. I am wondering if it might benefit in adding some feelings to a decree, maybe appreciation, love, joy. Okay. Here's the thing, Bob. If you truly knew you created it, let's say you wanted a new car. I'll just use a car. Your car is dead. You need a new car. You're putting yours together with spit and a prayer, keeping it going. And you going to create getting a new car. If you knew you were getting a new Porsche in a week from now, you think there'd be some excitement in it? You'd be dancing from the rooftops. Woohoo, they're delivering me a Porsche on Friday. Holy crap, it's the color I want. It's the turbo. Oh my gosh, it's better than I could ever ask. Or maybe a Ferrari, or maybe a pickup truck, an F-150, 350, whatever your dream car is. A McLaren, I don't care. My gosh, I just asked for a car. Look at what's coming. You would be so excited. You couldn't keep your mouth shut. You'd be going around telling your friends, oh my God, let's go for a ride. I'm getting it Friday. Friday night, we're going to have rides. You'd be going crazy. That's the excitement, the joy, the emotion, the energy in motion of creation. So when you do a decree, you best be knowing it's going to happen, and you best be having that excitement, or it's not going to happen. Oh my gosh, I am going to be so healthy that people are going to think I'm 30 again. Oh my gosh, and that's happening like in a month. Holy crap. I am divine perfect health. In a month, I am going to be like 20 years younger. See the difference? And I am divine perfect health. I am. Where's the power? The power is in the knowing. And what does it say here again? And to come unto the knowledge of truth. The knowledge of truth is you can create whatever you desire. You just got to break free from the stupid habits, knowing of lies of the matrix, the Luciferian matrix. And you got to break free of the ego. Alan asks, do we ask Yeshua or the violet flame to sever our cords and connections, ties, and attachments to the Luciferian matrix? Alan, if you want to be a master, you do it yourself. You use the violet flame. If you don't want to be a master and you just want to get the heck out, you use Yeshua. Can you have Sandra, can you have a specific, I think she means a specific place in your home that can be out of the matrix and be in the divine? No, a home is in the matrix. It's a house. Whether you are in the divine or out is the question. Who gives a crap about 3D stuff? So looking more at the definition of matrix, going into it more, it's all about the belly. It talks about the belly. It literally says the word belly, belly of the beast. Word origin from the meter, definition of womb. This is from the Metra. This is from the Greek. The stomach, by analogy, the matrix, figuratively, a gourmand, belly plus child. Matrix is a womb. This is from Hebrew. The Greek is the belly, a cavity, especially the abdomen, by implication, the matrix, figuratively, the belly womb. So when they tell you, why would they use the expression, the belly of the beast? Think about that. Why would anybody come up with that expression, the belly of the beast? See how they put all this together? The genius behind this is off the charts. But that brings me to another thing. Why would the president drive around in a car that's called the Beast? If you're inside of the beast, are you not in the belly of the beast? I don't care who named it. Why would you keep using it? It's a ponder. If you do this is just questions, okay? If you stand in public and you hold this, don't tell me unconscious, no. If you hold this book up and you say, and you hold this for all to believe that you are part of this book, you do not call your car the beast under any circumstances. If you are aligned with this, you do not use Luciferian terms. Just saying. Now, if I went into an office that the last asshole in front of me called it the Luciferian office, do you think I would not change the name? Do you think if I walked into the White House, I wouldn't call it the Lighthouse? I would definitely change it. Just saying. It's just me, but then, that's me. All right. Because it's the color of light that comes out. It's white. White, it has no color. Light up this world. It's working. Have a great, great day. Love you guys. Doodles. Hi, I'm Leana from PowerPassionFreedom.com. If you liked what you heard, why don't you come and join us on Sundays? We do a whole free question and answer period followed by a meditation. Bring all your questions. All you have to do is go to PowerPassionFreedom.com to register for Sunday. Oh, and don't forget to like us and subscribe to us below because we're always adding new meditations and content and you don't want to miss out on it. I'll see you Sunday.